Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's What's for Dinner video, I'll be sharing with you what meals we had this past week. Our dinners were easy to make, budget friendly, and delicious. If you'd like to get some weeknight meal ideas for your family, then just keep watching. For dinner this first night, I'm going to make some chicken enchiladas. So to get started, I'm going to take a medium mixing bowl. I'm going to add in some leftover shredded chicken. This was from my freezer. I just thawed this. It's about 2 cups. I'm going to place that in my bowl, and then I'm going to add some shredded cheese. I'm using sharp cheddar today because that's what I have on hand. I added about 3/4 of a cup, and I'm just going to give that a stir and then set that aside. Next, I'm going to take my casserole dish and spray that with some cooking spray. Then I'm going to add some of this Old El Paso enchilada sauce to the bottom of the casserole dish. I'm using about 1/3 of a cup, and then I'm just going to spread that around. Next, I'm going to take my tortillas. I'm going to add in the chicken and cheese mixture and then roll that up and place that into the casserole dish. Enchiladas are really versatile. I love making them. You can use whatever meat you have on hand, you can use whatever cheese you have on hand, and you can add additional fillings like beans or corn. And then you can also use green enchilada sauce or even salsa to top your enchiladas. Now I'm just covering my enchiladas with the enchilada sauce, and then I'm going to cover them with cheese. I'm going to place them into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. While that's baking, I'm going to get started on my side dishes. So I'm going to make some refried beans. I just used some refried beans, some hot sauce, and some sour cream. And then I'm going to make this Knorr Spanish rice. I'm just going to cook this according to the package directions. So to make my beans, I just have a small saucepan. I've placed my beans in here. I'm then going to add about 1 tablespoon of sour cream, a few dashes of hot sauce. I'm going to season this with a little bit of salt and pepper, give that a stir, and then I'll just cook this on low while my enchiladas are cooking. And here are the enchiladas after about 20 minutes. I'm going to allow these to cool for a few moments before we dig in. And here are the finished plates. So we have the rice and beans, and then we have the enchiladas. We like to serve ours with a little bit of sour cream and some sliced green onions, and that's dinner tonight. Tonight for dinner, I'm going to make some grilled chicken. I'm not actually grilling this. I'm just going to use my cast iron grill pan. But the night before, I marinated my chicken. So I got this from Jessica O'Donohue. I will link her video in the description box below. I'm just marinating the chicken in some Italian dressing and honey mustard dressing. For one of the sides tonight, I'm going to keep it really easy and just make this sweet potato casserole. I got this from Aldi. If you haven't tried this, it's actually really good. I'm just going to bake it according to the package directions. For my other side, I'm just going to simmer a can of green beans. I'm going to add in some of this zesty Italian dressing mix. I normally use a chicken bouillon cube, but I saw Bethany over at Budget Bethany using this, and so I wanted to give this a try. Once my casserole is almost ready, I'm going to get started on my chicken. So I've got my marinated chicken. I've seasoned this with salt and pepper. I have my grill pan that I've got preheated over about medium heat. I'm going to grill my chicken for about 5 to 6 minutes on each side, or until the chicken is cooked to about 160 or 165 degrees. And here are the finished plates. We have the green beans, the sweet potato casserole, and then the chicken. Dinner is really simple tonight, but really delicious. For dinner tonight, I'm going to make Ritz Chicken. I made this one other time before and we enjoyed it, so I'm going to make it again. And then I'm going to try a new recipe I found for a crack hash brown casserole. So to get started, I'm going to take some shredded hash browns, place those in a mixing bowl. I'm going to add in my sour cream. Next, the milk. Then the ranch dressing mix. Then the bacon pieces. Then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'll be sure to include the recipe in the description box below that includes the measurements. Next, I'm going to add in some shredded cheese and then stir that until it's well combined. Now, a quick note about this. My husband loved this recipe as is. Me personally, I felt like I wanted it to be a little bit creamier. My usual hash brown casserole recipe that I make that we love calls for a can of cream of chicken soup. So next time I make this, I think I'll add in the soup. Next, I'm going to take my casserole dish and spray that with some cooking spray. I'm then going to add in my mixture. I'm going to sprinkle a little more cheese on top. Then I'm going to add some more bacon pieces. And then I'm going to put this into a preheated 350-degree oven and cook this for about 45 to 60 minutes. You want it to be golden brown and you want the potatoes to be cooked all the way through. Now I'm going to get started on my chicken. So I've got a sleeve of Ritz crackers in this bag and I'm using my super fancy tool here, which is a container of garlic powder, and I'm just going to crush that until they're fine. To dredge the chicken, here I have a pie plate with some butter that I have melted. I'm going to take my Ritz cracker crumbs and put those into a cake pan. I've also got my chicken here that I've just seasoned with some salt and pepper. I'm going to season my cracker crumbs with some garlic powder and some ranch dressing mix. You can use whatever seasonings you like. I'm going to take my chicken breasts and dip them in butter on both sides. I'm then going to place those into the cracker crumbs and dip those on both sides. And then I'm going to take my fork and kind of press the crumbs onto the chicken breasts. I'm then going to put these on my cookie sheet. I'm using a Silpat sheet today, but if you don't have one, just make sure you grease your cookie sheet. Then I didn't want this butter to go to waste, so I'm just going to spoon a little bit of the melted butter over the chicken, but you don't have to do this. I'm going to place the chicken in the oven with the hash brown casserole. It's set at 350 degrees and I'm going to cook this for about 40 minutes. For another side, I'm just going to cook up some of this broccoli that I have in the fridge. I'm going to cook it in the air fryer. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil on this. I'm then going to season this with some garlic powder, some salt and pepper. I'm going to cook it in my air fryer on 400 degrees for about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll give it a stir and then cook it for another 2 or 3 minutes. And here is the chicken out of the oven, the hash brown casserole, and the broccoli. And here are the finished plates. Dinner was really good. You might not think that the chicken has a lot of flavor. It's only 3 ingredients, just the crackers, the chicken, and the butter, but it actually is really good. We liked the hash brown casserole, and we actually had leftovers the next morning for breakfast with some eggs, and that's dinner. For dinner this night, we just had like a snacky type dinner. On this particular day, I filmed a video. I believe it will be up next week where I made some of our favorite holiday appetizers. So I've got some pinwheels, some bacon wrapped crackers, some fruit dip, and then some bacon cheeseburger puffs. So that's what we had for dinner tonight. For dinner tonight, I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm making some ham and Swiss sliders. These are some of our favorites. First, I'm going to get started on the side dish. So I have the Suddenly Salad ranch and bacon kit that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to cook the pasta according to the package directions. And here is what I'm going to use for the sliders. So I have some Hawaiian rolls, some Swiss cheese, and some ham. You can use whatever cheese or meats you like. And then I'm going to add a layer of mayonnaise and Dijon mustard. And then I'm going to make a topping for this with some butter, Worcestershire sauce, onion powder, poppy seed, and some of the Dijon mustard. To get started, I'm going to take my casserole dish and spray that with some cooking spray. Next, I'm going to take my rolls and I'm going to slice them in half horizontally. I'm then going to place the bottom halves into my casserole dish. Next, I'm going to add a thin layer of mayonnaise and then a thin layer of Dijon mustard. Now, I've made these for years. I have no idea where I got the original recipe from. I will look online and see if I can find a recipe for this, and if so, I'll link it in the description box below. If not, I'll just type out what I did. Next, I'm going to add a layer of ham and then a layer of the Swiss cheese. Next, I'm going to add the other half of the Hawaiian rolls. I'm going to set this aside and make my topping. So in a small mixing bowl, I'm going to add some butter and melt that in the microwave. I'm then going to add some Dijon mustard. Then some onion powder, Worcestershire sauce, and some poppy seeds. I'm going to whisk that until it's combined, and then I'm going to brush that over my rolls. Next, I'm going to cover this with foil and put this into a preheated 350-degree oven. I will cook it covered for about 20 minutes, remove the foil, and cook it for another 15 minutes. The pasta has finished cooking, so I have rinsed that with some cold water. Now in a bowl, I'm going to mix some mayonnaise, the seasoning packet from the kit, I'm going to mix that until it's well combined, add in the pasta, toss that together, and then place that in the refrigerator until the sliders are done. And here are the sliders out of the oven. I'm just going to allow them to cool for a couple of minutes before we eat. And here are the finished plates. Really quick and easy dinner tonight. We have the pasta salad along with the sliders. If you've never had these sliders before, I highly recommend you giving them a try. They're really good. Dinner tonight was one of our absolute favorites. We did homemade hibachi. I will include a link to a previous What's for Dinner video that I did where I showed how to make this. So we have the chicken, steak, shrimp, fried rice, vegetables, and yum yum sauce. This is so good. If you've never made homemade hibachi, I recommend you giving it a try. It's really not that hard, but it's delicious. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.